Okay, we will call the regular scheduled meeting to order for February 4, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. We have a quorum, everyone is present, and we will say the national anthem.
Pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance. I'm sorry.
to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Hey. Oh, say no. All right, we will move on. Reports from council. Ed Waters.
I got a few comments from people about the hazardous waste pickup. They thought it was a great idea, and I do too. I think we probably need to schedule one annually before hurricane season gets here so that we could get that stuff picked up and out of the way.
That's what we did. That's why we did it now, right before hurricane season. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Ed. Rick Fisher.
I was going to say, hey, Mike, I drove by Sam and I drove by the parking lot last night, drove through it. It looks fantastic with the new stripes. They did a really good job. And one other comment here. Understand this past weekend, one of our besties, won first place in their competition. Congratulations to you and your mom and your dad. I know you all put a lot of work into that.
Okay, let's tell them what it really is. It's called the Southern National Champions. Like, it's a major deal. And Rick, they scored the highest score you could score. You left that out, man.
I let her fill in the blanks.
Congratulations. More congratulations to your parents, because I've been a traveling sports parent. Really hard on them. Got to be in the car with you guys for a long time when we travel, so congratulations. Jeff Terrell.
Just in addition to what Rick said, me and Randy were out looking at the parking lot today. It looks really good. It makes the whole front of the island look better, so good job on everybody's part.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Alex Scanlon.
No report.
Amanda Fenton.
No report.
Okay. I'll reiterate that. Jeff and I were out there looking at the parking lot. Mike and I looked at it the other day and had one more run at questioning, is there anything we could have done different to gain any more spots? And the fact is, no, there wasn't. So I want to remind everybody, I did see or hear that someone made a comment about, we wasted some space and whatnot. We didn't waste any space. We were trying to follow our ordinance is the reason you see that green space in there, and that's the reason we went and asked for a variance. So that stuff had to be in there. There's no way we could have followed our ordinance and just made it one flat piece of concrete, and it would have looked horrible. So I think, along with you guys, it looks great the way it is. We did gain several spots by striping it, and it makes the front of our island look a little more professional. And the greatest thing, Alex, is you were right all along. The drainage was perfect. No water stands in that parking lot whatsoever. So thanks for all the help that you had with doing all the drainage on that parking lot in the beginning, too. That's all I have, so we'll move on to Police Chief David Donaldson.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the parking lot does look good. I see a problem in the future with it where you enter in. Around the green space, it needs to be designated on the curb no parking, because we're going to have people parking in the lane of traffic that they're moving around. So it's something we ought to look at. That's all I have.
I would imagine we're going to have people start creating all kinds of their own parking. We forgot to tell you when we did this, that's your job. So we'll let you handle that.
Yes, sir. So it needs to be marked
Yeah.
as a fire zone or whatever it might be before we can enforce it.
No problem. We'll look at that. All right. Mike Cram.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things. First, continuing on the parking lot, Colliers walked it before they painted it, and I think I counted 100 spots out there today after the striping was done. Colliers completed a punch list on everything they wanted completed that hadn't been or corrected, what have you. Most of those items the contractor has already completed, and we'll continue to follow up to make sure those things are done. Roads and drainage, because we're waiting on the county bond election for the Clear Lake Road Bridge, we're moving other projects forward, specifically Narcissus will be moved up. I started conversations with Colliers yesterday to start working on the RFP. Alex had done some work previously, I think, on an RFP for Narcissus, which I forwarded to them. You'll be seeing kind of in line with those projects that we're going to be moving forward. We want to be able to skin the cat a better way and get more proposals in. So we're going to be bringing an ordinance to council on the next agenda, asking council to approve digital RFP submissions, online submissions. We can actually pay, it's right at $100 to post one on there, to post the RFP each time, but it goes out to a very broad breadth of contractors that use those types of sites to search for projects. So we should get a much more robust response using that. So I'll be bringing that with the next meeting. Code enforcement. We're continuing to plug along. 14 Tyndall. I think we've reached kind of an impasse with that, the one that we brought to a public hearing before. The lady I've been working with I think she's about ready to wash her hands. She lives a good way away. She has a full-time job, so it's asking a lot for her to help out. But we'll be working with the PD to continue enforcement to try to gain compliance for registrations of the vessels and the vehicles and that kind of stuff. There's an upcoming jury trial at the next jury trial we have scheduled for another one of those properties in which the PD wrote several citations for expired registrations or unregistered vehicles and vessels. So that will be coming. And then we're also continuing to address some other properties that are further in to the island that are eyesores when you drive past them, that are obviously in violation of several codes. Cheryl and I had a Zoom meeting today with the Texas Department of Emergency Management and FEMA. Basically, it was a handoff meeting from FEMA to TDEM. Cheryl, I say we, Cheryl does all the heavy lifting on it. She's already completed a lot of the documentation submission that we need to finalize that stuff with TDEM, and she should have the rest of it completed within a week or so. And we're looking at, what's the total, Cheryl? $34,000 in reimbursement. So we should be able to get that pretty easily. The bigger portion, I think we've already satisfied all the submissions for it. It's the time that Cheryl and I spent doing the administrative stuff for all of it that we're submitting now that she's got to gather all the documentation on. The last item I have is in regard to a public information request we had. PIRs are run-of-the-mill. I mean, government entities deal with these things continually. This one is a little bit different, and that's why I'm actually mentioning it now. We got a request from a media company, which is unusual. Usually it's a private individual that we get requests from, but when a media company requests something, it usually means somebody's looking for dirt. And it pertains to the things that we've been discussing over the past several months about bad information that's gone out about police enforcement and our concerns with over-serving of alcohol at some of the establishments at the front of the island. And a lot of times people kind of gnash their teeth and wring their hands when they get these things, but we've discussed it. We're welcoming it with open arms. It's a chance for us to solidify what we've been saying. If they do come in and do some sort of investigation on what the police have been doing up there, what they'll find is that there are over-serving concerns, and our police are not jackbooted thugs that are taking everybody to jail they can, but they can't overlook an extremely intoxicated individual operating a vehicle in the middle of the night either. And they will take people to jail for DWI. It's the law. It's what they have to do. And that's what they're going to find. If they find anything else that we might be unaware of, that's an opportunity for us to improve. So I welcome this with open arms. We're not shying away from it. There's nothing we've hidden. And I just wanted council and the public in attendance to be aware, if you have questions, come talk to us. Because what you're seeing online isn't always the truth. We encountered that when we went to breakfast this morning. There were a group of individuals eating at a table next to us just started apologizing profusely to the police chief because they had talked previously, been overheard talking previously about some things that were just bad information. And so I sat there with the police chief while he just stood there and said, "Oh, I appreciate it, I appreciate it, I appreciate it. And if you ever need information, you know, come talk to us, and we're going to have a pizza with the police pretty soon. Maybe you should come to that." So to us, it's not a big deal. It's just another PIR, but it is an anomaly because of the way it was requested and who it's coming from. So I wanted everyone to be aware.
All right, thank you, Mike. Anybody have any questions for Mike about anything that he's talked about? Okay. All right, we'll move on to public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the city council if the topic of discussion is related to an item on the agenda. The comments may be made now or at the time the agenda item is discussed. If the topic of discussion is not related to an item on the agenda, the city council cannot deliberate or take any action at this time. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and there would be no yielding of time. Would anyone like to address the city council? Going once, going twice. Okay, with that, we'll close the public comments and we'll move on to the consent agenda. Under check register, that's from 116 to 129, and the council meeting minutes from 128. Do we have anything we want to come out of that?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as is.
Okay,
I'll second.
have a motion by Amanda, have a second by Rick. Any discussion about that? All in favor? Okay, new business. Discussion and possible action may be taken on the following items. Set a bond amount for the city treasurer per Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 22.072, and approve bond amounts for other designated city officials and officers. City Administrator Mike Cram.
Thank you, Mayor. We currently don't have the treasurer bonded, and so we need to make sure that we take care of that to be in compliance with state law. We do have some other employees who act either as check signers or cash handlers, and I think it's very important that we maintain their bonds and that we have them at the appropriate amounts. Anybody who signs checks, my recommendation to the council is that we have a $100,000 bond on any of them, including Cheryl, even though she doesn't sign checks, but she is the treasurer for the city. By state law, the elected body has to determine her bond amount. So whatever you guys say goes on it. Then if you look at that sheet, I'm also recommending that anybody who signs checks has $100,000. That would be me, Christy, Angie, and the mayor. And then the senior court clerk that we have who handles cash and is responsible for that at a $25,000 bond.
Okay. We have any motions on that item?
I make a motion that we approve to set the bond amounts as recommended by Mike.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Rick, got a second by Ed. Any discussion from anyone? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimous, and we will adjourn the meeting at 6:40.